Good morning, everyone. It's official. I got it working. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the premiere of Grand Theft Auto 4 with mods on PC here on DSPGaming. I'll tell you a little bit about what happened and what caused all the issues. And we've got some more gaming news today. Sadly, the fallout of the Microsoft layoffs continues. And we have the sunsetting of a game that, quite frankly, I didn't even know was still up and running. Plus, we'll chill and we'll talk about Indestance Day. All of this and more on the final episode of the week of the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. It is a lovely Thursday, July 3rd, 2025. I'm DSP, the King, and this is the Level 1 Podcast. I hope I find you all in good spirits, and if not, what's your problem? Cheer up, for goodness sake, because today is going to be a great day of content here on the channel. What are we doing? Well, we've got some exciting stuff on deck that I've been working on for a bit after about a month of debate, and after a few days of hardship and pain. Today, we have Grand Theft Auto 4 with mods on PC. It took a while to get it up and running, and I'll talk a little bit about that and why it was a pain in the butt, but we got it going. We're going to have all kinds of good stuff added to the game, which we'll discuss. Excuse me. And of course, this will be awesome because we get to have a little bit of a taste of GTA before next year's GTA 6 release. It'll kind of, satiate our appetite. I haven't played a GTA game a couple of years. It was GTA 5 I played like 2 years ago. And then about a year or two before that, there was the GTA Remastered Ultimate Edition collection of the original games, which was not very good, if you remember. It was pretty buggy at launch, and over time they did eventually patch it and make it better. But I actually played it at launch, and it was kind of a mess. So anyway, good stuff there. Now, the late stream tonight is Thursday night fights. Since tomorrow is a special holiday marathon, I am doing fighting games tonight, and it should be great because it's going to be Capcom versus SNK 2. I've been playing this game quite a lot against really heated competition, like, Justin Wong, the former national champion, as well as other great players like Snake, who I actually played against in a grudge rematch after 20 years, is a grandmaster in the game who apparently still regularly plays and enters tournaments and the like. But the match was awful because of the connection. It was so laggy. I didn't know that Snake was in Florida. I had no idea. So here I am playing in the furthest northwestern portion of the map of the United States, and here he is way down here in the southeasternmost. It's like the biggest distance possible in the country, and we're trying to play a match together. But anyway, as you know, I've been doing really, really well in CVS2, getting better, leveling up, learning stuff. So tonight I'm very excited to play more and hopefully level up more. I'll be attempting to play on PS5 and see if there's comp, and if not, we can always switch back over to PC. Speaking of which, just a quick addendum for PS5. If you guys don't remember, this year we've had some issues with PS5 capture and broadcasting for some bizarre reason. Whenever I hooked up my PS5 Pro and we started playing games, there'd be an audio desync. And it would usually happen 1 to 2 times every stream, and I would have to restart the capture device live during the stream to fix it. And no one could really get to the root cause of it. So last week when I was playing Death Stranding 2, I said, I wonder, if there's anything here we can do with audio settings. And we went into the audio settings of the PS5 Pro. We just kind of messed with them. It didn't really do anything because we wanted to test it for like the spatial audio. What you can do if you have like a Sony TV that syncs with the PS5 Pro, you can do this thing with the audio of the speakers that the speaker in the controller will detect the audio of the TV and like give you surround sound through the TV. It's a whole bizarre thing, right? We went to do it. It didn't work. The TV went silent and wouldn't put out any audio. So I had to turn it off, and then it basically started working again. And we just kind of went from there. Now, since I did that test, whatever that test is, there's no audio desync. We've now played 2 streams of Death Stranding 2 and CVS 2. Nothing. So I don't know what it is, what caused it, but it seems like we fixed it. Don't ask me. I'm not the techie guy who would be able to figure this audio thing out, but I'm just happy that it's not happening anymore. Obviously, I'd rather have no audio issues than having desync constantly. This is great for upcoming playthroughs. Obviously, Death Stranding 2 won't have it. Ghost of Yotei won't have it. And other playthroughs on PlayStation moving forward. Speaking of which, Death Stranding 2 continues. Yesterday, you guys showed up, engaged, and supported the game. We hit our goals and exceeded them, and people seemed to enjoy the stream. So Death Stranding 2 will continue in the rotation. As long as you guys want it, I'm down for it. All right? So we'll keep it going. It will continue next week. Sweet. All right. However, one quick note, Taxi Life, the driving simulator based in Barcelona, Spain, is over after 5 hours. We played it for 2 streams, and then last night we were doing our 3rd stream. The entire audience was bored. People were just like, Phil, this sucks because we want to have a game where we can interact with you. We want to have a game where we can hang out and chill and have a good time together. And sadly, when you're playing Taxi Life, it really is such hectic driving. There's bumper-to-bumper traffic, stop and go. Pedestrians are walking across the street right in front of your moving car. And you have to pay such attention to the game, you can't read our chat messages and interact with us. So, yeah, sad, but people just didn't really like it. So I said, all right, it's all good. We played it for 5 hours. It's good enough. I got my money's worth out of the game. I'm not upset. Now we still have one driving sim in the rotation. That's American Trucking Simulator, which is doing well. We're actually going to new states and stuff because I bought a bunch of DLCs. I guess what we will do is next week reconvene and see, hey, is there another game driving, with this wheel that I have on my PC that you guys would like to try? Or do we just stick to driving sims like Truck Sim for now? We'll see. All right. But anyway, we did on the fly. We swapped around. And we just did a Q&A session, chill with Phil for like an hour and a half. And I had a good time with it. Most people did. We didn't hit the goal, but I'm not going to be upset about not hitting a goal when we did an on-the-fly change like that. Still had a good time. Still decent support. So it's all good. So we start off today at 43 out of 50 goals. Remember, the reward is the Grillo's Pickles menu from Sonic for DSP Tries It. They put it on the app as of yesterday, so pickles are back on the menu. And the sooner that we get to 50 goals, the sooner we will try the menu. Now, obviously today, I doubt we're going to hit 7 goals. So we're not doing it today. Tomorrow is a marathon, and we're going to talk about that. It is Indestance Day. Tomorrow, all day long, we are going to chill here on DSPGaming together. I am going to be doing several different things at once. First off, I'm going to be cleaning out this closet for the first time in around 3 years. We actually did this in 2022. And it actually ended up being one of the most popular events I did all year. I think what it was, people just like to chill with me. And when I'm pulling random crap out of my closet and showing it off, it's kind of cool. This time around, it'll actually be in full HD. Great visuals, auto-adjusting camera. Unlike last time where I still had the, peach fuzz cam and everything looked like shit. So it'll be cool. You'll be able to see some of the fan art and things that I have in there. I'll be able to show off my game collection in full HD. It'll be pretty cool. All right. But in addition to that, which is, kind of a busy work thing that just needs to get done, it's going to be the retirement stream for my vests and hats. If you remember through the years of 2020 through 2024, whenever I hit milestones of support on a stream, I would put on a silly hat or a vest or whatever, right? So now we are going to do that again. It's been done for a year, but we're going to bring it back one day only out of retirement. And when we hit support goals of $50, every $50, I'm going to be putting on either a hat or a vest during the course of the stream. I've got over a dozen hats. I've got like 8+ vests. So we've got a lot to get through. And every time that I put on the silly stuff, obviously it's going to be funny, but then we're going to retire that stuff and I'm going to put it into a storage bin. And maybe we will pull this out every once in a while for a special event, like maybe every year. If this is, popular, if it does well, maybe we'll do Indestance Day every single year and have it as an annual event, similar to how I do my Halloween and Christmas marathons. It could be a really cool thing to do. Okay? So, Indestance Day is tomorrow. In addition to that, I'll be drinking. I have a ton of different flavored shots, including 3 kinds of flavored moonshine, horchata. In addition to that, we've got those 99 fruits shots back and more. So I've got all kinds of stuff to drink during the stream, and there will be a big meal. My wife is going to be making an American barbecue meal with barbecue chicken and some homemade amazing mac and cheese, plus some other sides. So it should be a good day, hanging out, having a good time, chilling, cleaning the closet, putting on silly things, getting some shots in, and it should be just overall a great day. Now, listen, I understand that a lot of people will be celebrating July 4th, the National Independence Day here in the United States tomorrow. I'm streaming all day. I'm actually starting off early in the morning, 11 o'clock, and going all the way to like 8, 9 p.m. So, hey, if you could just stop by at some point during the day and say hello, that would be sweet. If you can't make it, it's all good. Obviously, the event will be on demand after the fact and you can watch it. But it would be nice if you could stop by and hang out with me and just say hi if you have a chance. Many of you don't live in the United States. I'm well aware that it's roughly 50% of my viewership aren't in the USA. So in that case, hey, come on by and hang out with me during the day when most people will be busy in the US. I'll be here all day spending time with you guys and chilling and having a good one. Okay? I'm also going to look for a patriotic background. I do believe that there is a like an American flag background that I can use. I'll have to take a look. Flags of our users is one of them. Yeah, it used to be American flag, but they changed it to flags of our users. And I think what it is you can pick America and others. So I can maybe do like an American flag, or maybe I can do like fireworks, red, white, and blue and stuff like that in the background. Should be pretty cool. So this should be fun tomorrow. I hope you'll join me all day long. But that's kind of why my schedule is different this week. That's why we're not doing Friday Night Fights and there's no gameplay tomorrow. Now, by the way, for the record, if we get bored or if I finish cleaning out the closet and we want to do something else, we can. If you want me to silly jump into something and play for a minute, we could do that. You know what I mean? Like, we have options. It's okay if later on in the day, once we've kind of gotten through the things that we were going to do, if you don't just want to sit here all day and clean out the closet and do something else, I'm okay with doing some gaming, but I don't want to commit to that because I don't want to upset people if we don't get to it. I don't want people, oh, he said he was going to play GTA 4. When does it start? When does it start? I'd rather just have it be casual, okay? So, it should be a great day, and I certainly hope that you will join me. Yes, Mozzie, I'll be writing names all over my body for contributions. Anyone who contributes $50, I'll write your name, I'll tattoo it all over my body, so I'll look like the Inked Man, or, of course, that stupid gimmick that everybody else does. But, I mean, in reality, that's actually what the whole vests and hat thing was about. If you remember, there was an epidemic around 2020 of people who were becoming streamers, and the only reason they were doing it was to milk money out of their viewers by doing dumb stunts, like literally taking their clothes off on stream, jumping into a hot tub or a thing of Jell-O, or riding an inflatable Pickle Rick and writing the names of their contributors all over their bodies. It was disgusting, quite frankly. It was revolting. It was absolutely unacceptable, morally and legally. And therefore, I was trying to basically make a spin off of that, say, hey, if you can do that stupid shit, I can do the opposite. I'll put clothes on and make a living because you're so dumb you think you have to get naked and degrade yourself. Well, I'll put more things on and I'll do better than you. And I did. So there you go. Anyway, so that is tomorrow. I'm excited for that, and I hope that you all are too. I just want to remind everyone, I will be off from streaming both Saturday and Sunday of this week. One day I'm going to be doing my errands and usual stuff. The other day I'm going to be spending some time with my wife. I'll be back on Monday, and next week will be a balance, okay? It's going to be a balance between Death Stranding 2 and GTA 4 with mods. we'll probably sneak in the stream of blueprints like we usually do. The night streams will alternate between American Truck Sim, Mario Kart, Minecraft, and CVS 2. Also, keep in mind that Friday of next week is a new release. On Friday, it is the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 collection. So we will be checking that out starting on Friday and adding that to the rotation as well. It should be a good week. It should be a very good week of summertime content for all of you, and I hope that you'll come join me. Alrighty. So let's do some shout outs. Okay. Then I want to talk a little bit about GTA with mods and what you can expect today. I also have some game news to cover, so we've got a good variety show today. All right. Okay. So first off, thank you to Toe Tickler Timmy, who became a channel member this morning. I appreciate that, Toe Tickler Timmy. That is an interesting name. And thank you for the support. Appreciate that. And I got a couple of small tips this morning. Let's see what's going on with those. So I got a $2 tip from someone. Now, I've heard about this, but I don't think it's actually what people think it is, okay? So there's a $2 tip from someone. And they said, did you hear that YouTube has a new policy that they are bringing into effect basically within a couple days? This new policy is now going to prevent unoriginal content from being monetized. Content ripped from streams without proper transformative edits, restreams, raw out of context clips. Word on the grapevine is that many detractors are in a sheer panic, and rumor has it that one of them is actually paying a mortgage with the detractor and restreaming content money and is in a full-blown panic right now. Things are looking good. Do you have any thoughts? Well, here's the thing. When this was first announced, people were actually saying, oh, is this a direct response to the H3 lawsuits where Ethan Klein is suing several streamers for basically replaying his own content without permission, which is a violation of copyright law. It does not, substitute or constitute fair use. And is that what's happening, that YouTube is saying, oh, well, we should be in line with this now. We're going to actually start doing it. No. And in fact, what happened is YouTube has responded to this story saying, we're not changing anything. I'm serious. Oh, we already had this process in effect. It's already been in effect all along. That's what they said. That was their response. And everyone's reading it like, but you don't enforce it. What are you talking about? So the question is there actually going to be an actual change? Because YouTube literally responded to the story saying, no, we're actually not changing anything. This has already been in our policy all along. But could that be corpo speak saying, oh, actually, you shouldn't have been doing these things all along, and now we're finally going to enforce them? The way I see it, excuse me, I'll believe it when I see it. So let's see what happens. All right. When this happens, if it goes into effect, whenever it is, I think it's a few days, right? I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen is people are going to start mass flagging stuff. All right. They are. It's not going to be me, because you know me, I don't bother with any of this shit, but people will start mass flagging people who are these clippers, these restreamers, these re-uploaders. It's just going to happen. And then basically it's going to test the waters. Are these people going to survive, or all of a sudden will their channels completely be demonetized, right? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, but I'm not going to be involved in it. My job is to be right here making content for you every day, positive content. I just don't bother with this shit. I'm too busy with my own life. So something might happen, something might not. To be frank, I probably have one of the best legal cases of anyone on the internet to sue people for actually stealing my content. For the people who live restream me every day, which is 100% blatantly illegal, and you cannot do it under any circumstance, that's out. And anyone who raw rips my content and just re-uploads it, that's out. It always has been. It's just that I've never actually exercised my legal right to do anything about it. It's too expensive. It's too time consuming. I would have to go get a lawyer. I would have to slap people with cease and desists and lawsuits. And it's just not my style. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to play games and have a good time and make a living doing it. Now, if anything ever happened where I couldn't do that, like, for example, if all of a sudden I couldn't make a living doing it anymore because these idiots were actually stealing all my profits and I wasn't getting crowdfunding, then they'd be in hot water because I'd have nothing better to do. Get it? But the good news is I'm doing well for myself, so I don't waste my time on that shit. Okay? So, let's see what happens. But I'm not too into it. I don't really care. I'd rather see what happens with others first. Like I said, the whole H3 lawsuit thing is kind of interesting. I want to see how that progresses. And we'll see if anyone actually gets slapped with anything as a result of this policy change or not. And we'll go from there. But I'm not sweating it. I'm not caring about it. To me, it's just business as usual. I got a $1.50 tip. What is my opinion on the Star Wars Disney sequels? Do you see them as canon? I don't think that it matters what I think. What matters is who owns the property and what they say. Disney owns Star Wars, and they say that the sequel trilogy is canon, so it's canon. Right? I don't determine what's canon or not. I could try to deny it. I'll give you an example here. I am a humongous fan of Ghostbusters. When I was growing up as a kid, Ghostbusters 1 was like an insanely popular franchise, movie, cartoon series, action figures out the butt. Ghostbusters 2 came out, amazing, right? Then, Ghostbusters retired for a very long time. Ghostbusters returned in 2016 with a movie starring 4 women, totally new Ghostbusters team, not in line or supposedly canon with Ghostbusters. Some people claimed it was, some people claimed it wasn't, everyone argued. There's been 2 more Ghostbusters films that actually have continued the plot of the original 2 films and actually has the actors in it, continuing their characters, right? Now, what if I don't like those movies? Oh, I didn't like that one, man. Ghostbusters Afterlife is garbage. I hate it. Doesn't matter if I like it or not. If they say it's canon, it's canon. They own the property, right? So I would argue, yeah, I guess that the Star Wars trilogy of sequels is canon. Even if you hate them and you think they're horrible writing and they sunk the series and everyone hates Star Wars now, that doesn't change the fact that the movies exist. The only way that they could not be canon is if they retcon them, which they could. They could make new movies and be like, forget that. Those movies never existed. We're going to do another sequel trilogy or whatever. They could do that. Of course, the problem with that is all the actors are old or dead, so I don't know how they're going to pull it off, right? So, there you have it. Okay. I received a $5 tip from Shinkin25. Now that Taxi Life is thrown in the trash, can you play more Mario Kart World? It's hard to convince viewers you're successful if it takes 26 years to go on a honeymoon vacation. What? Wait, what? 26 years? What? First of all, those are 2 of the weirdest, most juxtaposed statements I've ever heard. First, you want me to play more Mario Kart. Then you say, it's hard to say you're a success if you don't go on a honeymoon for 26 years. I got married in 2019, bro. What are you talking about? I don't know. Do I even address it? Like, do I even bother? It sounds like the guy's high or something. I don't know. Listen, I could have gone on a honeymoon in 2019, and I would have been even worse off than I was financially because I would have done that. I think it would have been a really dumb thing to do, quite frankly. Because at that point, I was on my last legs, financially. I was in insane amounts of debt. I couldn't pay my taxes. I couldn't pay my bills. I was back-ended on everything. Late fees out the ass. Interest rates up the butt. A lot has changed since then, right? A ton has changed since then. I'm now financially stable. I'm doing much better right here with my business as well as behind the scenes financially with all my responsibilities. Things are healing, as they say. Thing is, it takes a while. I declared bankruptcy, and it takes many, many years to get that off of your record. I'm still not. I'm about halfway there, actually. And if I maintain the course of what I'm doing, things will bounce back, So eventually, could I go on a honeymoon? Yes, I could. Absolutely, I could. It's definitely a possibility. But I don't know what you're getting at. Saying that I didn't go on a honeymoon for 26 years when I've only been married for 6 years is a little silly, don't you think? Anyway. So, thanks for the tip. I have no idea what you're talking about. It sounds like you're high. Cool. All right. So, by the way, a lot of people are trying to tag me and say hello. Good morning, everyone. I see a lot of people here. We got King Michael, we got Chris. Um, there's a couple people over on Kick, but now they stopped doing that. So, thanks guys for being here. Thanks for chilling with me here this morning. And I hope that you guys are in good moods and ready to chill with me because GTA 4 with mods should be fun. You know, it should be really cool to jump back into this game franchise. Okay. All right, so what should we cover? Let's talk about GTA 4 with mods quickly. Let's cover some game news, and then we'll do some Q&A, because you guys are asking me questions, but let's cover the other topics first before we get to that, shall we? Okay, so GTA 4 with mods. Why didn't it work, and what mods are we using? Well, we're using a big package of mods that includes things like traffic, editing and improvements, graphics overhauls, different behavior of things in the city, lighting effects, reflection effects, all kinds of stuff. Like, it's too many to list, essentially. All right. But you'll see as soon as we boot the game, it looks completely different. You know how GTA 4 kind of looks washed out? Gone. You're going to see reflections on the street, on the car, in the glass, stuff that didn't exist in the base game. Really cool looking. The one bummer, I'm going to have to not have the radio on. And I know that there's going to end up being scenes where there's music playing in the background and we're going to get caught anyway. But if I don't turn the radio off, once again, what's happened previously is going to happen again. There's going to be videos that are going to end up getting muted, blocked. And what's the point of playing the game if people can't watch the playthrough? GTA 4 has this unique soundtrack, but sadly, half the tracks get issues on YouTube. So, really dumb, really stupid, but what can you do? We'll just have to have the music off, okay? But outside of that, this should be an awesome playthrough, seeing all the changes and everything in the game. Now, did I mod the actual story? No. We're going to play the real GTA 4. It's just going to look, sound, and play a little different, but it is GTA 4 at its core. We didn't change the whole game around to be a new story or anything like that. It's going to be, the core stuff. I haven't played GTA 4 in about 6 years. It was actually, I think early 2019 was the last time that I played it. And then before then, it was like 2012 was my original playthrough. So it's been a long time since we've touched this game. It should be a really fun run. And I hope that you guys will stick around and hopefully, hopefully you guys are good and will enjoy this, all right? It should be fun. Okay. Why isn't it available on consoles? Because it's modded. Mods can't be on consoles. Mods are all PC oriented, editing files and the like. So that's why. Okay. I should mod in DSP songs. As funny as that would be, I don't think we'll be listening. I already hear the DSP songs enough every day on my own stream. I don't need to hear them in the game too. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Totickler Tommy says, no, I mean GTA 4 as a whole isn't even on PS4 or 5. Is that true? I know for a fact it's on Xbox because that's where I played it in 2019. I played it on Xbox One. Yeah, curious. I wonder why they never added it to PlayStation. I don't know. It was on PS3, that's for sure. Okay. All right, so that starts today. So what happened and what caused my problems with these mods? So it's very simple. It's what I've been saying all along. These people who code, who mod, all the techie head people, they're incredibly smart. I don't want to downplay the level of intelligence and expertise that these people have, but they're very smart in one very small area of something that they hyper focus on and they master. Okay. And usually these people are excellent as employees, but if you try to get them to relay any kind of information, to teach something to someone else, you might as well be talking to this wall right here next to me. Okay. And I had some experience with this when I was in college, university. I, at first, was a major in computer science. Well, they only had one teacher to teach computer science at my university. This teacher, again, he was gifted. You could tell that this guy could code like a master. Okay. The problem was he was one of the worst teachers I'd ever had in my life. He had absolutely no ability to relay the information of what he was doing to an audience. Therefore, no one learned anything in the class. He would sit there and go through code, and he would skip half the stuff. So you don't even know what happened, and then he expects you to be able to do it on a test. It's like, but you didn't fucking show us how to do half of it. How am I supposed to know how to do it? You're the teacher. Why didn't you teach us? So anyway, what happened with these mods is there were step-by-step instructions online on how to do them. Download this zipped file. Download this zipped file. Literally just unload this folder into this folder. Override this file with this file. Okay, I did everything word for word, step by step as instructed. The mods didn't work at all. Why? Because the person who made all of this made a mistake. They accidentally had one file not proper. So when you have a zip file and you're going to unzip it somewhere, extract it to this folder, the whole idea is you want those files to be placed directly into the folder and override files in said folder. They didn't do that. They placed a folder inside the zip file instead, but said to extract it into the folder. It didn't work because you're putting a folder in a folder. You're not putting the files in the folder. You're putting another folder within the folder. So it's a simple mistake, but they fucked up their entire instruction thing by doing it that way. In addition, they misnamed the folder. So not only was it improperly in a folder, then they named it wrong, so you wouldn't have even known that you were supposed to take the files out of that folder and kind of drag and drop and override because it wasn't named the same thing either. So they made two simple mistakes that, again, if you were the person involved and you know modding, you'd say, oh, I see what they did wrong here. It's an easy fix. But how would you know that if you don't know modding? If you don't understand the situation, you'd be like, I don't know what went wrong. I have no clue. What am I supposed to figure this out? So luckily for me, I had some help. The person looked at it and said, is this it? Make sure to do it this way and this way. And I did it a second way, a different way, and it worked. Okay? There was also an issue with the shaders, but the shaders got fixed. There was like a simple issue with the shaders. Like I guess one of the configuration files had an error in it. So that was fixed, and now it works. It's running beautifully. 4K resolution, 60 frames per second smooth, all these new visual effects and things, which is excellent. No blur, no nonsense. It should be good. It should be a good run. GTA 4 looking and playing better than ever before. It should be super fun. I'm excited for it, okay? I apologize. I obviously wanted this to start on Tuesday. It didn't work out that way. But I guess as they say, better late than never, right? Okay, so that will be starting today right after this stream. Cool. All right, a couple shout-outs here. We have Prophet Oner, who did a $2 super chat and says, this is for the GTA mods today. Thank you so much, Prophet Oner. And then we have Princess Luna, who did a $10 super chat. Thank you for not giving up and for trudging through installing all these mods. Hyped for GTA playthrough. Me too. I hope that it turns out well. I hope that, here's the thing. Until we actually play it, we actually don't know how stable this thing is, right? Like, it could start off well, and all of a sudden, the whole thing starts crashing. I hope not. I really hope that it will work, and it'll be smooth, and we'll enjoy a much nicer version of GTA 4 than the core version. Not to say that the core version is bad, but I mean, we're talking, this is from Xbox 360 era. The graphics are very washed out from that time. I think they did it on purpose because the draw distance wasn't far enough, so they would have these washed out graphics to hide the things in the background, right? Now, with these graphics and everything the way that they are, I mean, you could have insane draw distance and everything. So we'll see how it goes. All right, I'm excited. And we can tweak it too along the way if we need to. We can change those things, settings. There's a lot of different adjustments and things that we can do. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, okay? Already, the moment I boot this game, people are going to say, are you doing the DLCs? I am not committing to playing the DLCs right now. Okay? Just being honest. I want to do a bare playthrough of the base game with these mods and see how it goes. Now, if we play through the base game and people really like it and they're showing up and they're engaging and supporting and we're having a great time and we want to extend that experience into the DLCs of The Lost and Damned and The Ballad of Gay Tony, then maybe we can do that. But I don't want to promise you guys that because we have no idea how this is going to go. Okay, let's see together. Let's play it together. Let's have a good time. And If it goes well, maybe we will do those as well. The thing is, I want to make this abundantly clear, so everyone listen up. The GTA 4 playthrough is the filler playthrough. It's not a new game. So once new games start coming out, those will take priority, and we're going to have GTA 4 perhaps jump around the schedule a bit. It's not going to be played full time. It's going to be the thing that goes between other streams. It's a filler playthrough. We've played this game 2 times before. There is a gimmick here that it's going to run and look better on PC, but it's the playthrough we've already done. The other things will take priority, whether that's continuing Death Stranding 2, Tony Hawk's Collection, the upcoming Donkey Kong Bonanza, RoboCop to some extent. I think with the RoboCop expansion, what we'll do is let's see what's going on at that time and how we're doing in all the games. And if I feel like maybe we shouldn't play RoboCop at release and we should hold off till later in July, because if you're not aware, there's nothing going on in late July. It's very dead. So maybe we hold off on a game and play it later on in the month. Might make sense, because both Donkey Kong Bonanza and the RoboCop expansion come out on the same day. And I was thinking, maybe hold off on RoboCop for a bit and play it a little bit later while we focus on the other things. That way we're not playing 7, 8 new games again, and then we're all stuck, right? So let's see how it goes. All right. Will people show up, engage, and support with GTA? Let's see. I'm always curious, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I'll be honest with all of you here. GTA usually does bring butts to seats at first, but sometimes it doesn't last. It really depends. I know people love GTA. You know, I do too. Some of my most successful games I've ever played and playthroughs I've ever done. But this is the 3rd time I'm playing GTA 4. So, you know, it's certainly not going to have the kind of lasting impact as, say, the first time I ever played this game, right? And I get that. I totally understand it. So let's see how it goes and play it by ear. Fair enough? All right. All right, well, let's go ahead and do a couple of quick news stories, and then we'll open it up to kind of Q&A and see what you guys want to talk about today. Okay? Okay, so we got a couple news stories to cover today. One is a follow-up to what we talked about yesterday. It's definitely not good news. In fact, it's really sad that this is happening. But we do have a follow-up to yesterday's story about the big Microsoft layoffs. Okay? Taking a look here. Hold on. There we go. So taking a look here, if you remember yesterday, we talked about how, sadly, Microsoft has laid off over 9,000 employees across the company, but a lot of the people affected are people in their Xbox games division. So yesterday we talked about how they closed the Initiative, who was making the Perfect Dark reboot, that there was a whole new MMO being made by Rare, that's canceled, that there was another MMO being made by the same people who made Elder Scrolls Online, that's completely canceled. A lot of people are losing their jobs. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this morning we got this news, not good at all. Romero Games employee says the whole studio is now subject to layoffs after Microsoft pulls funding for the new shooter from Doom co-creator John Romero. We have some difficult news to share. Last night, we learned our publisher has canceled funding for our game, along with several other unannounced projects at other studios. This was a strategic decision made at a high level within the publisher, well above our visibility or control. We deeply wish there had been something or anything we could have done to prevent this outcome. This absolutely isn't a reflection of our team's work, performance, or the quality of the product itself. We hit every milestone on time, every time, consistently received high praise, and easily passed all of our internal gates. We are incredibly proud of the work being done and of the talented team behind it, the best that we've ever worked with. We're currently evaluating next steps and working quickly to support our team. Many of us have worked together for more than a decade, some of us for over 20 years. It's an extremely difficult day, and we're heartbroken that it's come to this. If you know of any opportunities or ways that you can help our incredible team, please reach out. Thank you to everyone who's offered support and kindness and encouragement during this difficult time. That's Brenda Romero, the wife of John Romero, who's in charge of Romero Games. And then there's a follow-up message here. A Romero Games employee claimed that Microsoft's decision to pull funding from the studio's in-development project has led to the entirety of the studio being laid off. Today, I found out the whole studio is being let go because of the layoffs at Microsoft. They posted on LinkedIn. A very sad day, wrote another employee impacted by the layoffs. It breaks my heart to say that Romero Games fell victim to the 9100 Microsoft layoffs today. The best team I've ever worked with, and it was my dream job, just gone just like that. It really was a great project, and it's hard to process that it's over. It's nothing less than tragic. So if you're not aware, yes, John Romero was one of the people who created, co-creator, Doom. So what you do is, if you make Doom the Dark Ages and it flops like it did, because if you guys aren't aware, it actually did flop. They were expecting it to be another hit like Doom Eternal. It didn't sell nearly as well. The game stopped being talked about within about a week. And now people are acting like it never existed. Kind of sad because, they thought that Doom was going to be one of their giant franchises over there, and they've basically fumbled the ball with the Dark Ages. So, Doom the Dark Ages fumbles. So what do? You go to the people who made the original Doom, who obviously knew what they were doing because they created an entire genre pretty much, and you lay them all off. The modern team making Doom failed, so you go and lay off the people who made the original game and had nothing to do with it. The people who have a track record of success, who know what they're doing, who likely were making an FPS game much better than the modern Doom. I just don't get it. I don't understand anything they're doing over there. It's apparent the management has lost their way and have absolutely no idea what they are doing. And especially from this report, Brenda Romero herself saying they literally were receiving praise for their work. They were excelling. They were doing the best work they've ever done. And they just laid off everyone. People who are 20-year veterans of the industry who are making an amazing game. So I do have an honest question. I would love to hear an answer. I don't think that you'd ever hear any Phil Spencer or Sarah Bond or Matt Booty answer this question, but I do have a question. What was the point of buying up all of these game studios just a few years ago? You remember when Microsoft went on this crazy buying spree, buying this studio, that studio? Oh, we got to acquire Activision Blizzard. Why did you do that if just years later you were going to lay everybody off? What's the fucking point, you stupid imbeciles? So anyway, yeah, I am upset about that. I would have loved to play another FPS from John Romero and his team. Probably I would have liked it way more than the modern Doom, to be frank. I like Doom 2016. I did not like Doom Eternal. I thought Doom the Dark Ages was good, but not great. So, yeah, pretty sad. I don't know what else to say. Okay. Hold on one second here. We have 2 shout-outs here. We have Primitive Chef doing a $5 super chat. Hey, pal, can you just play the game instead of explaining every small detail? Chat isn't interested. This is the podcast. This is the show where we discuss things. If you're here for the game, it's after the podcast. That's why I schedule it that way. It's literally scheduled out on my schedule as that. It even has blocks of time that show you when to show up for what. So you're early. That's your fault, not mine. I recommend that you learn how to read the schedule. And thanks for the $5 super chat. Okay. Okay. I received a generous contribution this morning. Someone named Schizo, okay, says, I keep seeing the number 23 one way or another in my daily life. I think there's a movie called 23-2 played by Jim Carrey. Yes, there's a movie called The Number 23, is there not? Where Jim Carrey gets into this crazy conspiracy theory where he thinks that everything is related to the number 23. But then supposedly the movie is a thriller because he starts finding things that actually are related to the number 23, and he thinks he uncovered a big conspiracy, and the mystery is it real or not? So, yeah, I remember that movie. Well, thank you for a tip of $23.23. I appreciate that. 23.23 tip from Schizo. Oops, it's 23.23. All right. So that gets us to 51 bucks of support already. Thank you guys so very much this morning. Let's see here. I swear some people are really like ridiculous. So this person tips a buck. So listen to this question. You're criticizing Microsoft for buying game studios and closing them. Why did you buy a condo in Connecticut just to end up abandoning it and having it be foreclosed on? Because that was a completely different part of my life. That was before I was a YouTuber. That was before I moved across the country. That was before my aunt got ill. Like, there's a million factors. Like, that's insane. It's not even close to a similar comparison, right? When I bought the condo, I had this office job, and I actually bought a condo in Connecticut to be close to the job and commute back and forth, really short commute. Literally, that's the reason I bought it. And then what happened was that job laid me off. I became a YouTuber. I was a YouTuber for many years. I moved across the country. My aunt moved into the condo in Connecticut. The point was that she was going to live there for a long time, but then she got very ill and had to go into hospice care. And then eventually she passed away. So I didn't have anyone else to take over for the apartment. I looked into ways to try to rent it out. I couldn't find any company. Like, no company would touch the place because they said that is in like a high risk area. Renters in that area tend to not be reliable, and therefore we don't even want to handle it. We don't want to even rent it for you. No one would do it. So I ended up just having it sit there, and eventually I went into bankruptcy, and I actually had to surrender that condo as a part of the proceedings, and it ended up being foreclosed upon by the mortgage holder. That has nothing to do with me buying up a bunch of game companies and then immediately 2 years later laying everybody off. Not even close. But thanks for the $1 tip. Very bizarre. You're a very bizarre person. That's all I'll say. Okay. Okay. We're going to continue. I have another news story, and this one confused me, to be quite frank. Okay. Our next story blew me away when I heard it this morning. You ready? I'm just going to read the story word for word, and then I'm curious what your reaction is. But let's go ahead and do it. You ready? Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Anthem is closing down. Anthem game update. We have an important update to share regarding Anthem. Hi, everyone. We have an important update to share regarding Anthem. After careful consideration, we will be sunsetting Anthem on January 12th, 2026. This means the game will be unplayable online for the next will be playable online for the next 180 plus days. Excuse me. As of today, you can no longer purchase any in-game premium currency, but you can still use your remaining balance until the servers go offline. We deeply appreciate your dedication, passion, and support over the years, and we'd like to thank you for that. Well, how long can we play? Till January 12th. Why can't I play it in offline mode? Well, Anthem was designed to be an online-only title, so once the servers go offline, the game is no longer playable at all. Can I still install Anthem if I previously purchased it? Yes, you can. Why can I no longer purchase Anthem? Over the course of the next 180 plus days, Anthem will still be playable online, and you can use the last of your currency then. Will I still be able to use my in-game currency? Yes, until January. How long will the game stay on EA Play? Only until August 15th, and then it will be removed. Has anyone else at BioWare been affected? No, the sunsetting of Anthem has not led to any layoffs. And that's it. So, I have a question. Okay? A burning, interesting question. Who the hell even knew that Anthem was still available to play? I actually thought they had closed this years ago. You know, this game flopped tremendously when it released in early 2019. It was known as one of the biggest AAA failures of all time. Insane amounts of money, time, and resources were invested in it. BioWare stopped making single-player RPGs to make this co-op online shooter game. And it was one of the biggest bombs ever in gaming history. Now, they did support it for about, what, a year with updates and the like, but very relatively quickly, within that year time frame, they announced we're done with it. Like, we're not going to even be deving for it anymore. Don't expect any more updates. Don't expect anything, right? So the weird part to me is it's getting shut down in January 2026. It's still available now? And the other thing that gets me about this, all right, let's talk about gaming posterity. Let's talk about preserving the past, and let's talk about having these things available for future generations to experience. Now, listen, I don't think anyone's going to say that Anthem's a must-play game and that if you didn't play it, you really missed out on this era of gaming, right? Now, who's going to say that? But you're telling me that because this game was purposefully designed to be online only, that now, once the servers go down in January, no one in history will ever be able to play it ever again. Yeah. That's exactly what they're saying. The game will literally be as if it's never existed, erased from history. The only way you'll be able to see it is gameplay videos and archives that people made while they were playing it, but you will never be able to play it. That's pretty bad, I think, because here's the thing. Bad games are bad forever once released. That is true, unless they get patched and they're better, but you can still play them. Like, you can argue that E.T. the Extraterrestrial is one of the worst video games ever made, and you can avoid it if you want, but you can still go back and play it. This you literally can't ever play. And in fact, they're not even going to have it available anywhere as of August 15th. What they're actually saying here is you cannot buy it anymore. It's not available for purchase anywhere, okay? It is on EA Play, but only until August 15th. After August 15th, you literally can't even get the game again. So if the only way to buy this or play it right now is to get EA Play, download it via that, and play it within the next 180 days, or else you'll never get to experience the game. Now, I've heard about people who played it, and some people say it's an okay game. It's not terrible by any means, but also it's really nothing special, and that's probably why it flopped. So much money and time and investment put into it just to be kind of a meh game is kind of stupid. So I do understand that, but I always thought that maybe one day I would give it a shot if it was like, a freebie on something, or maybe the thing that gets me is no offline content. They literally never made the game playable offline. So if you didn't have an online connection, you never could play it. You always had to do it co-op. That's stupid. It really is. Like, and I get it too, because MMOs are the same, right? MMOs, if you don't have your online connection, there is no offline mode for an MMO where you could just play it for yourself as if it's like a single player RPG. I think that's sad. I think that a lot of games, sadly, are going to be lost to history and people won't be able to experience them, at least for games that have giant followings. Like, for example, if World of Warcraft were to actually sunset, I feel like there would be fans who would be like, well, we want this to continue. And you'd have people who still have their own individual servers where they still run World of Warcraft. Even if it gets to be super old, they still want to have that experience, right? But a game like Anthem is sad. All that hard work that went into that game and the fact that these game devs didn't even want to make it. Did you hear the story of Anthem? So basically, BioWare was told by EA, we need you to follow the trends. We need you to trend chase and make a team shooter. And BioWare literally went back to EA and said, we make single player RPGs. This is new territory for us. We don't really know what we're doing. We don't think that this is a good idea. And EA said, do what you're told because we pay your paychecks or you can find a job elsewhere. So they were forced to make Anthem against their will, and this is the end result. When you stifle creativity because you think you can pocket it for profits, that's where you make a big mistake. Video games very much so are profitable pieces of product to sell, but they are also artistic works. And arguably, if you look at the body of work that BioWare has put out, right? Single-player RPGs like Knights of the Old Republic, or Dragon Age or Mass Effect, they have a forte that they can focus on and excel at. When you take them out of that forte and say, just do what everyone else is doing, you have stifled creativity, you have missed the mark, and you don't even know what you're doing with your own company. And this just proves that these people who are in charge of these game companies are just suits. They are rich bitches, spoon in the mouth, everything paid for, no strive for adversity. They don't know diddly dick about gaming or anything else, but they're put into positions of power because they're rich. So, hey, I'm on the board of 7 companies. I know what I'm doing. Hey, look, over there's a trend. Everyone's doing looter shooters together now. Take a look at all the Tom Clancy games that are printing money. We need to do that too. Quick, make a game like that, BioWare. And BioWare says, what are you talking about? Like, we don't make that. We're not going to know what we're doing. This is not going to work. No, too bad. Make it anyway. But we don't know. No, just do it or you're fired. All right, you asked for it, and this is what you get. So now here we are in 2025, shaking our heads at what could have been. Imagine if, instead of taking Mass Effect away from the core BioWare team and giving it to this B team that made Andromeda, imagine if they kept making good Mass Effect games. You know, how things could have been different. And the path that BioWare has now gone down as a result of bad choices like this. Now you get Dragon Age, but you get Dragon Age Dawn Guard. Was it Dawn Guard? No, it was Veilguard. And they make literally every bad fucking choice you could possibly make, making the game incredibly boring, repetitive, nothing interesting going on, then wedging in left-wing politics and culture wars. I mean, they could have still been making good games, but EA fucked them with Anthem. And now they've lost their way, and likely the people who were actually in charge back in the day when they were making Knights of the Old Republic, the original Mass Effect trilogy, and the old Dragon Age games don't work there anymore. They said, fuck this, I'm not going to keep working at this company where I'm being forced to make garbage like Anthem. So how the mighty have fallen, but in this case, you can't blame BioWare. You got to blame the morons in charge who forced them to make this shitty game. And it's sad because you can't even play it after January. The game that ruined the company will now actually not go down in history because no one will be able to play it ever again to know how bad it was. I don't know about gaming today anymore, guys. I don't know. Anyway, well, that's the news story. Let's see here. Stuart did a £5 super chat, which is the equivalent of like $6.72. And he says, this is why we need to spread the message of stop killing games and take this to the lawmakers. Go for it. You can do that, Stuart. Enjoy. I believe that, yes, games should be playable for posterity purposes for future generations. I do feel that these games that are being made online only are a bad move. And I feel like we are going to lose our history. And that's sad. Games that you played all the time when you were growing up no longer ever being playable because the servers are offline. That's really bad, you know? And especially when you bought that game, or at least a license to play the game, to the fact that they can just pull that rug out from under you whenever they want, that's pretty ridiculous. Okay. There you go. Erebus UK says Metal Gear Online and also SOCOM are 2 games that are technically offline, but developers and community have kept them online. So there you go. And like I said, I think it depends on the game as well. Like, I feel like a game that has a big enough community, like, for example, World of Warcraft would never be allowed to completely shut down. Fans would absolutely maintain servers and do stuff to keep that alive, right? For sure. But some games are going to go away, and there's not much that we can really do about it as consumers because we're not in charge. It's these jokers at EA and companies like that, these moron suits. They don't understand gaming culture. They don't understand gaming at all. All they see are dollar signs, and if the dollar signs don't come, oh well, shut it all down. Wow, what a great attitude to have about art, huh? Oh, I just got a dollar tip. Listen to this. One thing to understand about modding is that some games are significantly better for it than others. Rockstar and FromSoft are some of the worst. They make it as difficult as possible These games have zero mod support. Some PC-centric games, not only can you add mods with the click of a button on a Steam Workshop, but the mods themselves are way more substantial because the devs release mod tools. That's partly why smaller, more niche games have huge modding scenes, but games like Red Dead 2 or Dark Souls modding scenes are dead in comparison. There you go. I am totally new to the scene, don't really know much about it. I appreciate the education, and the more that I understand it, the better. Thank you for that information. That's interesting to know. I wonder why. I wonder why some companies are so open to it and others are just so blatantly opposed. Like, here's the thing. Maybe what they should do, like, I can understand, for example, let's say GTA 6 comes out, okay? Arguably, you probably want that game to be kind of protected for a while. It's a brand new game in your IP. You want people to be buying it on the various platforms. But I almost feel like after a certain time period passes, now as it becomes a more established title with a legacy, that's when you should start to loosen the grip, you know? Like, for example, GTA 6 is going to come out on consoles first. Fair enough. Then it's going to come out on PC. Okay. Maybe have a time window. And maybe be like, okay, when GTA 6 is like, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years old, loosen the grip and say, all right, now we're going to allow mods. Here's some mod tools. Here's this. Keep our game alive, right? But what it might be is that Rockstar sees so many dollar signs as a result of keeping the grip that they don't want to loosen it, right? I mean, to this day, GTA Online is printing money. So why would they want people to mod the game and get all that shit for free that you're paying for right now, right? Who would be paying for GTA Online, for the cars, for the houses, for the clothing, for the weapons, for the heists, for the skins? Who would be paying for it if you could just mod it and get it all for free? So I think that's the point, right? I believe that is the point, is if the money keeps printing, the control stays tight. Now, with a game like GTA 4, I don't think they're making much money. I bought GTA 4 Complete Edition, which is the 4K PC version plus all the DLCs, for $6 on Steam. $5.99. So I don't think they're really missing out on my... You know what I mean? Indica says some game creators don't like seeing their art get changed. Other game creators like to have people build on their vision. It really is a preference thing. I could see that too. I could totally see that too. Like, you wouldn't want people to completely change your original intention of what a game was because they modded it and the mod became more popular, right? I could totally understand that. Okay, well, we covered... Oh, wait a minute. I missed it. Princess Luna tipped $5. Sorry about that, Princess Luna. Have you seen the new World of Warcraft cinematic? It looks like a machinima animation. How far they have fallen. Oh, no. I haven't done anything in World of Warcraft in a zillion years. I'm the last person to be in the know about that game. But it's Activision Blizzard, and they were already in a tailspin before they were bought out by Microsoft. And now with the insane mis- and non-management of Microsoft, I can just imagine how they're doing. So, not shocking to hear anything like that. Okay. Thank you for the early support. We're at $64 out of the 150 goal. Remember, guys, we are working towards Grillo's Pickles menu at Sonic. If we hit the goal today, we'll be at 44, and then we'll have 6 more to go to do DSP tries at Grillo's Pickles menu. So for the launch here of the GTA 4 with mods playthrough, let's hit the goals. Let's actually hit 50 goals on this stream. So let's get it going. We only need about $1,000 more, and then we'll do Grillo's Pickles on this very stream. If we hit 50 goals on this stream to celebrate the launch of GTA 4 with mods, all right, we will do Grillo's Pickles today. So let's bring in the $1,000 right now. Let's get 100 subs over on Kick. Let's get a $500 tip. Let's get it going. Anyway, back to more serious stuff. Yes, I did hear about this. Sadly, Michael Madsen has passed away. Michael Madsen is the very well-known American actor, mostly Quentin Tarantino films, such as Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill. But he has a huge filmography. He's done voice acting work. He actually was a voice actor for GTA 3. So, yes, sadly, rest in peace to Michael. Apparently, he had a heart attack And, you know, he actually was still acting. He was in all these films and everything. It sucks. Yeah, he was. He was the dad in Free Willy. He's done a lot of roles. It's funny. He's one of those actors that he's generational, where like for one generation, he was like in everything, but you forget. And then you'll just be watching a random movie from like 1993, and you're like, is that fucking Michael Madsen? He was in this movie? I didn't even remember that. And then you watch, he's like, he's really good in this movie. And I couldn't even remember he was in it, but he's really good in it. He was just like a part of that era, that like 90s to early 2000s era, where he was just in everything and he was really good no matter what he was in. Someone tipped me $1, says, you know, EA should pull a Barv, just like they made people do by playing Veilguard. Yes, I think EA owes everyone a Barv for their boneheadedness. Thank you for the $1 tip there. Little inside reference to Dragon Age Veilguard for those who don't know. Okay. Yes, I played Helldivers 2 last year. I did enjoy my time with the game. I played it for like a month and a half, 2 months. I thought it was fun, but eventually the gameplay loop got kind of repetitive and boring for me, mostly because I wasn't playing it with an established team. I was just like dropping in, dropping out with randoms. So it was fine. It was fun. I get why people loved it, but I probably wouldn't go back to it. Am I going to play Borderlands 4? I don't know yet. I'm undecided. Did I ever play Excite Bike? The only time I ever played Excite Bike was last summer. There was the Nintendo World Championships game that released on Switch, and Excite Bike was one of the challenge run games in that collection, and that's when I played it. I have not actually played it as a regular NES game. So, in a lot of ways, sometimes I feel like Michael Madsen in real life, because I have clowns to the left of me and jokers to the right, and I'm stuck here in the middle with you. That was really bad, but I had to say it. I mean, I had to do that as a tribute. I had to do it. All right. I know, that was really bad. People were like, no, he's just the emote. No, why did he do that? Why? I know, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. All right. I apologize. Will I buy snakeskin cowboy boots for your next reward? Sure, why not? And wear them on stream? I'll lift up my foot, and instead of a colored sock like this, it would be a snakeskin boot. Want that? I think, sadly, that would make my feet sweat and be uncomfortable. I probably wouldn't want to wear snakeskin boots, just to be honest. Is Geese in CVS 2? Yes, he is. Geese Howard. And I did use him at one point for a bit. I think he's a decent character, pretty much higher mid-tier, lower high-tier, but I haven't used him since I've started playing CVS 2 again. I never got back to using him. Exactly. Wearing boots indoors, you get swamp foot. It's disgusting. Stinky, sweaty feet. Oh, nasty. How do I lift up my foot like that without showing leg? Like this. What do you mean? It's called being flexible. You should try it sometime. When you're unhealthy, you can't do that. You're excited for GTA 4 with mods? Me too, King Michael. I hope it runs smoothly. I hope we don't have any technical issues and crashes and things. I don't know. We'll find out as we play, but we'll, hopefully it works well. It looks like a prosthetic leg. It does. Yes, I just have a prosthetic leg that I sit around here on the floor, and I lift it up on whenever I want. See, it's prosthetic. That's why I can wiggle the toes. See that? I'm like Dalsim. That's right. Dong, 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 dong. Look out. Here comes the foot. Oh, up. Oh, oh. Oh. Dong, 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 dong. Anyway. No, I did not see the Bandai Namco showcase. They had a showcase? I didn't even know it existed. I didn't know who they did one. Would I consider playing Night Rain again? No one really cares about Night Rain, so I don't care. Like, I bought the game. I played it for about a week, right? I used some of the classes. I didn't use all of them, but I used a bunch of them. And then after that last run, we just got busy with other games. New games came out. And since then, there's been little to no demand for Night Rain. And the thing is, I told you guys at the time it came out that would happen. I said, I get to guarantee you this will not be like Elden Ring or Dark Souls. This is going to be a game that comes out. We all enjoy it for like a couple streams, and then it will go right to the back and no one will care. And that's exactly what happened. It's a multiplayer only game, the stupid survival type style. It's not a bad game, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think that that's the kind of game that you guys are going to enjoy watching me play over and over, Does YouTube Premium help the channel? Yes, it does. When you use YouTube Premium and you watch someone's channel, I receive credit as if you were watching this channel with full ads enabled. So you're watching me with YouTube Premium actually does support the channel, and I thank you for that. What's my shoe size? 13. Sometimes I can go like 12 and a half, but usually it's around 13. I have giant feet. Now everyone's quiet. What happened? Why is everyone so quiet? Yours is 13 and a half? Yeah. It's annoying having big feet because shoes are one of the things that the sizes aren't equivalent. So you could go buy a shoe of one brand and you buy 13s and they're too small. So you got to get a 13 and a half. But then you could buy a brand that's 12 and a half and it feels like it's like just right. Like that doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be a measurement of size. So why are they off? I don't know. But it's been like that my whole life. It's very frustrating trying to buy shoes. I have to try on a whole million pairs of shoes because they're not accurate. Because I have big feet, they're hard to get. Plus, when you have big feet, they usually don't have the big sizes that often in stores. If you have like an average size foot, they have like a ton of your size. But for me, they usually have like one pair of shoes in the store that will fit me. So it's annoying. Looks like I received a $4.99 super chat. It is a super sticker from Snoopy. Thank you, Snoopy, for $5 of support. I appreciate that. We're now at $70. Can we get halfway to the goal by the end of the podcast? Only 75. We'll be there. Can we do it? Can we get some subs? Right now, this morning, we currently have one. Wait. No, what happened? It's deleted. Subs were deleted for some reason. So we have no subs at all this morning. 0. We do have a member. We do have super chats, and we do have tips. We have 0 subs. No support whatsoever from the Kick audience. None. A big goose egg. What is going on over on Kick? What has happened to all of you? Are you destitute? Have you all been, were you all working for Microsoft and you all got laid off? Is that what happened? You're all now unemployed? Wow. It's awful. I'm sorry to hear that, if that actually is the case. But what is happening over there? Game Boy, how you doing, man? How am I going to put away the vests tomorrow? I have storage bins that I have, and I'm going to pull one out of my garage, an empty one. And as we wear a hat or vest, right, it'll be on camera. And then when we hit the next milestone of $50, it'll be a new hat or vest. We'll do polls. And then what I had on will go into this storage bin and be retired. How tall am I? I am 5'11". Am I drinking tomorrow? Yes. How much depends on you? The more you support, the more I drink. How do I take my coffee? Black. What's my favorite burger? Well, I'll just say this. Man, that burger that I had from Jollibee was actually quite good. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I would be craving that burger again because it tasted so good. The meat was seasoned and tasted great, much better than standard hamburger meat. It had fresh veggies, good condiments. Like, it was seriously good. Nick Smith did a $2 super chat. He is embarrassing and insulting Kick. He says Kick is poor and he says you guys have dented heads. That's what he just said. That's pretty insulting, I feel. I think that's a pretty big insult. But that's what he said. I didn't say that. He said that. You understand? I'm not saying that. I'm just reiterating what the person said in their super chat, okay? So, damn. Harsh stuff. I agree, too. The Arby's burger was super good months ago. I was shocked because Arby's is known as the place where you don't get burgers. You get sliced meats and stuff like that. They're even known for, think beyond the burger, get different kinds of meat. Then you get the burger and it's good. Like, then what the hell was the point? If your burger is good, it's bizarre. Someone tips me $2 and said, hope you have a good July 4th tomorrow. But I, for one, am disgusted with America in its current state, and I wish for its immediate downfall. Wow. I will say this. There are things very wrong with America. But at the same time, our country is resilient. Our country tends to bounce back. And I think that, I feel hopeful that we will improve and get better as long as we don't give up. We're definitely not perfect. There's a lot of things wrong that are trying to be fixed or swapped or changed. But man, we have a lot of things that we take for granted. What I find hilarious is when there's people sitting online on social media complaining about how their freedoms are awful and taken away. It's like, do you know what it's like in the rest of the world? Have you ever been to the Middle East? Have you ever seen what it's like in Russia or China? You think that it's bad in America and you're going to sit here and complain that your life is awful. You'd be persecuted if you lived in parts of the world. But you're going to sit here and bitch like you don't have it good here? That's pretty entitled. These people who sit around with literally nothing to complain about, who whine the loudest about shit, it's pretty ridiculous and pretty ungrateful for the things that America gives you on a daily basis and you completely take for granted, okay? Have I considered trying beer like good craft beer, not mainstream light slop? Here's the thing about beer. There's a lot of calories in it, right? And if I'm going to drink, I prefer to get the effects of the liquor without pumping insane amounts of calories into my body that I don't need. Like back in the day, I did drink beer and stuff. It's one of the reasons why I was more overweight. So that's why I don't drink soda. So I probably wouldn't want to drink beer. Mozzie did a $2 super chat. Trump made America great and it deserves respect. I don't think Trump made America great either. I do think that people tend to go way to the extreme. It wasn't Trump alone. Oh, it was Trump. He did everything. I don't know about that. Why would I do that? NJZ says, would you consider painting the walls in your room a different color? Why would I ever do that? Having the wall being this off-white allows my background to pop. Look how awesome the light looks on the wall because it's that color. If I painted it a different color, then the lighting wouldn't look nearly as good. So I'm actually fortunate that the walls in this office are this color. Try Dragon's Milk. It tastes like chocolate milk, and it's actually a stout beer. Oh, wow. Dragon's Milk. Interesting. To me, Guinness almost tastes like chocolate milk. I like Guinness a lot. I just never drink it. But when I used to drink it back in the day, I loved it. But you have to do it right. You have to get it with that head. If you don't get it with the proper head, then you're not doing it right. Am I excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza? Heck yes. Like I said, to me, it looks like what Super Mario Odyssey's sequel would have been if they actually made a sequel to Super Mario Odyssey. So I don't know what happened, why they didn't make one, but this is good. And I think this will satiate that desire to get a really good modern 3D platformer. No, I never tried to roller skate in my life. Absolutely not. There you go. Big Papa Phil did a $5 super chat, and he says, greetings, Phil. Thank you for your service as the original creator of Let's Plays and being the prototype YouTube streamer who has inspired so many. That's right. I was the absolute first person ever to make a Let's Play. For sure. Undisputable. And so many people have copied me over the years. If you like any content creator who started after the year of 2010, anyone after 2010, they owe it to me. All right? So thank you for giving me my flowers. I appreciate that, Big Papa Phil. Thank you so much. Very nice. 78, so now we're at 83. 83 bucks of support and climbing. Thank you, guys. Hell, at this point, can we hit the goal by the end of the podcast? We're close. If we hit the goal by the end of the podcast, we're at 44 out of 50. Then we only have 6 more to hit during the GTA 4 with mod stream to get DSP Tries It Grillos Pickles menu. Let's do it. Let's do it today. Beautiful, right? Can I increase the mic gain by a decibel? A single decibel? I could. Why do I need to do that? Is the mic sounding too low? Because it looks fine in my setup. It's starting to hit red. So if I go a decibel, it actually will hit red more often. I probably don't want to do that. I'll start blowing it out. Would I ever travel to the Ukraine? No. I would not. Am I going to play Splatoon 3 again? Splatoon 3. No. I'm not going to play Splatoon 3 again. What do I think of the Renaissance? No. I don't think about the Renaissance. Would I go to India and live for $100,000 a year in tips from streaming? No. Am I going to play Kingdom Hearts 4? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Kingdom Hearts 3 sucked ass. I hope that 4 is good, but I'm not feeling too positive about it. So it's a maybe. When is the next demo day? I don't know. I can't answer. What's going on, Alex from Phoenix? How you doing, man? I'm excited knowing that Donkey Kong Bonanza is being developed by the team who made Mario Odyssey. No. And the only reason I'm not is because I didn't know that until right now. So I couldn't have been excited because I didn't know that knowledge. Now that I have that knowledge, I am excited. That's cool. Dan Zach did a $5 super chat. I heard men think about the Roman Empire often. Do you think about the Roman Empire regularly? No. I think about it often, not regularly. Sorry. What is going on? Thank you for the super chat. Can we game now? No, we're still in the podcast, but we could game soon, but not yet. Old Ugly Bastard did a $10 super chat. Stop killing games past today. Huge win for game preservationists. Companies like Ubisoft won't be able to destroy always online games like The Crew by pulling and plug the servers anymore. All right, well, great. Thank you for $10. Old Ugly Bastard, thank you for the news. Now, will I actually be playing The Crew now that it's being preserved? No, absolutely not. I would not play The Crew, but maybe some people want to. Jade is here. He says, I'm not a big fan of GTA, maybe a little. Well, stick around, see if you like to play through today, and if not, it's all good. Well, hopefully you like it. What do I think about India? Well, no, I don't think about India. Okay. Excuse me. Would I ever travel to Italy to learn about my heritage? Well, I have spoken with my wife that in the future, not anytime soon, but in the future, perhaps we'd like to go to Europe and do like a tour of Europe. Because we were talking about this last night on the Taxi Life Sim stream, that apparently there's a super train that travels through major European countries. And maybe we'd like to take the train, like fly over to the UK, start there, jump on the train, take it to the next country over, take it to the next country over. So basically spend a day or two in each country doing fun stuff, seeing the countryside, eating delicious food, stuff like that, until finally we get to the other end and then, I don't know, take the train back and then fly back from the UK. I don't know how we would do it, but I think that would be really cool to do like a tour. Will it ever happen? I have no idea. At least I can say this. It's possible. Previously, with the way that my life was going financially and everything, it was like, that will never happen. Now, at least it's possible. It's not probable, but it's possible it could happen. So never say never, right? I received a $2 tip. Someone says, is Jasper your cat? No. Wait, yes. Yes, he's my cat. Yeah, of course he's my cat. How dare you say that? Yes, he's my cat. Or I guess I should say, no, he's our cat. He's both my cat and my wife's cat. Jasper's our cat, not my cat. There you go. So now we're up to $100 of support. Can we hit the goal before we start the game? We have a chance. We could hit the goal before we even boot the game. That would be amazing. That would be outstanding. Then we would only have 6 more goals to go for Grillo's Pickles. Only 6 goals to hit during this stream, and we could do it right. I would do DSP Tries It, Grillo's Pickles right now if we hit the 6 goals. So let's get it going. It's called the Interrail. You travel on different trains in the countries, but the ticket works for everything. Oh, that sounds neat. That sounds pretty cool. Interrail. I know, I'm at 100 right now, so we need to hit 50 more, and we get to 44 goals. Then we just need 6 more. That's another $900. That's all. So technically, I need $950, and then we can do DSP Tries It, Grillo's Pickles on this stream. So let's get it going. Why not? I'll do it. I'm down for it. I'm ready for those pickles. I was ready for the pickles on Monday, and then all this nonsense happened where they did not put it in the app. I couldn't get it because the local one closed. All this baloney this week. This pickle madness, this pickle drama. I've had enough of the pickle drama, all right? I just want the pickles now. I want to eat them. I've been waiting all this time, and I've been denied delicious pickles, and I can't stand it. I want the pickles. Just do DSP Tries It when I hit the goal. I will. When we hit the 50 goals goal, I will do DSP Tries It, as we do. You're correct. Jade says, what team will I play tonight? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'll go back to like I was playing with Iori and Morrigan and some Vega, or maybe I'll pick the better team. I don't know. I don't know what I'm feeling today. Your future stepdad just gifted 5 subs over on Kick. That's $25 of support from your future stepdad. Finally, some Kick support this morning. Thank you to your future stepdad. 5 subs. We're now up to 125. 25 bucks away from hitting the goal. Can we do it right now as I end the show? Daniel D says, if we already raised the money for the pickles menu, why do we have to do it again? Well, Daniel D, I have to ask you a question. Did we do a DSP Tries It this week already? Yes, we did. It was on Tuesday, remember? Was it the Grillo's Pickle menu? No, it wasn't. It was Jollibee, remember? Right? So we raised the funds. We did the reward. Now, you got to raise the funds again to do the next reward. That's why it's a reward, because it's done in response to something else positive. Get it? It's cause and effect. You support, you get your reward. Support the streams, get me eating delicious pickles, shoving them in my mouth. Get it? It's not rocket science, but some people seem to be slow on the uptake, if you know what I'm saying. So there you go. Alex from Phoenix did a $5 super chat. Just rewatched GTA 4 a week ago. Which one? Because I did 2, right? I did one originally in 2012, and then I did a second one in 2019. 4 to 5 is a humongous leap in content. I suppose GTA 6's map will be 3 times bigger. Yeah, I think so. I think GTA 6 will be insane considering how long we waited for it. You would think they're going to go wild with the amount of content that will be in it, right? I would think so. If not, I mean, that would be a huge disappointment to wait all this time just for it to be, like, underwhelming, right? Why didn't I finish GTA 5 in first person? Pretty matter-of-factly, I played GTA 5 as a new release when it first came out. Okay? Then within, like, a year, they re-released GTA 5 on PlayStation 4, and people said, hey, we'd like to see you play it again on there. But when I started playing it, immediately we realized this isn't going to be so fun because it's identical to the first run with better graphics and better frame rate. So people said, well, what's a gimmick that you could do to make it different? And the answer was play it in first person, because you could do that on PS4. You couldn't do it on the originals on Xbox 360 and PS3. So we started doing that. But even then, after a few streams, people got very bored. They stopped showing up. So we're complaining it was boring. So I dropped the playthrough because people were not watching it. You know, people wanted some other stuff, so we moved on. So, Ricari did a $10 super chat. And Ricari says, RimWorld is a good game, but it is totally not for your style or audience. It's just my advice. Did you see that YouTube says as of July 15th, restreamers that aren't transformative will be demonetized. We already talked about that, Ricari. So the funny part about that is YouTube did an addendum and claims, oh, that's not even a change to our policy. That's always been in effect. So the question is, if it's always been in effect, then why have they allowed it for so long? It very well could be that now they're just saying they're finally going to enforce their own rules. I don't know. But like I said earlier, you know what's going to happen is on this day when it goes into effect, anyone who is restreaming is going to be mass flagged because people are going to want to see if this works or not. And it'll go from there. Maybe YouTube will actually enforce their policies and maybe they won't. I'm going to be doing my own thing as always. I'll be making original content. I'm not going to be restreaming anyone, so I'm not worried. But everyone on the planet restreams me. They should probably be worried because you know people are going to be mass flagging each other. You have to understand something about the troll community. These idiots attack each other on a regular basis. They do. They try to thwart each other and one-up each other. They're morons. So I guarantee you they're going to be trying to take each other down and doing fucked up stuff. I'll be sitting here making my own content, just watching the world burn around me because it's not even my world. Remember, this whole weird orbiting world of morons around me, I have nothing to do with that. Habib did a £7, 33 cent super chat, which is the equivalent of $10 USD, which means as of right now, it is absolutely, positively, 100% official. Ladies and gentlemen, we have hit my support goal for this stream before we even finished the podcast. We are at 44 goals out of 50 hit. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for filling the king's coffers. Thank you for paying the tax. Thank you for supporting my content in droves. I appreciate you so very much. And here's to another great stream here on DSPGaming. Let's keep it rolling. Let's get that Grillo's Pickle menu as soon as we can. Thank you all. I really appreciate you. All right. So I was going to end the show, but I got more contributions coming in. Someone tipped $2, says, I miss your old school style of videos. Before live streaming, I'm old school like that. Well, the thing is, I did it for a long time, right? I did that style from 2008 all the way through 2017. So I totally understand if you liked that content. I mean, you have to understand that thing had to evolve and change. I couldn't continue to be a offline style creator to survive. I just couldn't. I had to evolve. Right now, most of my income comes from streams, whether it's super chats, memberships, subs, tips, and now some of the partner revenue that I get from viewers over on Kick. Like, that's the majority of my income. Do I make on-demand style ad revenue? Yeah, I do, but it's definitely not the vast majority of income that I make. It's a small portion of this bigger pot that I get. So if I wasn't a live streamer with crowdfunding, I'd be out of business. Why? Because literally everyone has stolen my content. What we're talking about right now with YouTube. People live restreaming, people ripping my videos and re-uploading them right away. Therefore, they get the initial views. So because of that, I never would have been able to have a living the way that I do today. It's their fault. They've stolen that from me by breaking the law. I had to become an interactive live streamer to survive, so thankfully I did. But I get what you're saying. It was definitely a different thing back then when it was just me and the game, hanging out, playing it, focused on it, with no interaction. I got a $1.30 tip from Toxic Toilet Juice. He says, detractors are leaking out of their pants in terror. There you go. Again, I have nothing to do with it. I want to make this abundantly clear. I am going to be sitting here making content normally as I always do. I will not be involved in anything. I'm just going to do par for the course. What happens with these people blatantly violating copyright law happens, and that's their own fault, you know? If something happens, maybe it won't. Because like I said, YouTube is claiming they had these policies in place already. I don't see anything changing. Do you really think that YouTube hired a whole bunch of new people to enforce their own rules? I don't think so. So I don't think things will change, but... All right, folks, let's actually end the show. Now, a reminder, tomorrow is the big Indestance Day event. There will not be a podcast tomorrow. We will hang out. We'll talk and chill, but it will not be a formal podcast. And I'm not here until Monday. So there will not be a podcast until early next week. But I want to say thank you. It's been a great week of content. We had some good news stories to cover. We had great discussion, great support, no matter what I was doing. You guys are absolutely outstanding. And I appreciate every one of you who comes by and supports DSPGaming. I wish you the best. Have a fun weekend. Obviously, I hope to see you tomorrow for the marathon. But if not, I'll see you fresh and early next week. Peace out, everyone. See you then.